Måneskin in the video of The Loneliest. Here is the Villa Tittoni in Brianza where it was filmed and why it was chosen. Fans already had no doubts. But now the mystery has, definitively been solved. With the release of the highly anticipated single The Loneliest, the official confirmation has also arrived. The new Måneskin video clip was shot at Villa Tittoni di Desio, in Brianza and the municipal administration, which in recent days had maintained a confidentiality worthy of an FBI operation, jokes the mayor Simone Gargiulo, can finally celebrate the opportunity to see that their jewel of art shine on the world stage conquered by the band. A historic home designed by the same architect who modeled La Scala in Milan. Chosen for the possibility of transforming it into a perfect Gothic setting. And for the maximum confidentiality guaranteed during the shoot. We weren't the only location in contention, but the production chose us. Well, yes, it was they, the Måneskin, the very famous rock group known nationally and internationally, who chose our city to shoot their latest video, says the mayor. Villa Tittoni and its park accompany the clip that reflects the dark Gothic atmosphere of the new song The Loneliest. For Desio represents a source of pride, continues Gargiulo. The presence of the Måneskin will further enhance the identity of the city and its artistic and cultural heritage. The indiscretions had become more and more insistent in recent weeks, especially when the park of Villa Tittoni was inaccessible to the public from 27 to 29 September, without any official explanation of the reasons. We thank those who immediately took action to start a work table that would guarantee order and confidentiality, also discussing with the local police and carabinieri, underline the mayor and the councillor for events Andrea Siviero, starting from the disputed, but necessary closure of the park for 3 days, precisely to avoid problems with traffic and public safety. A consideration that was also explicitly asked of us by the production itself. Villa Tittoni Traversi, designed by Giuseppe Piermarini, the same architect of the Teatro alla Scala, was built in the 18th century as a we thank those who immediately took action to start a work table that would guarantee order and confidentiality, also discussing with the local police and carabinieri, underline the mayor and the councillor for events Andrea Siviero, starting from the disputed, but necessary, closure of the park for 3 days, precisely to avoid problems with traffic and public safety. A consideration that was also explicitly asked of us by the production itself, that is a country residence where the families of the Milanese nobility in the 17th and 18th centuries retired to the holiday periods, devoting himself to leisure immersed in nature, to the pleasures of polite conversation, art, music and poetry. The Marquis Cassani, by hiring Piermarini, i.e. the most famous architect of the time, intended to show his closeness to the Habsburg court. This is how the monumental complex was built, which still today is the supporting structure of Villa Tittoni, on the model of the Villa Royal of Monza. The design of the English garden was instead handled by Antonio Villoresi with a large hydraulic system that fed a large artificial lake, now underground. In 1817, the villa passed into the hands of the lawyer Giovanni Battista Traversi, an exponent of the Milanese upper class, who was a creditor of the Marquis Cassani. Starting from the 1830s, the villa was the subject of numerous interventions to create an increasingly rich monumental building, which would demonstrate the very high social prestige of the owner. The decision to grant the villa to the Roman band required a long reflection. I spent myself personally so that the shots were made in full respect of the places and the current legislation on public safety, assures the Commissioner Siviero. Several inspections and meetings before making the spaces available, precisely to ensure that this event did not cause damage and still allowed us to maintain the integrity of the park and the villa, which remain priorities for us. Villa Tittoni is in fact an asset subject to protection, and therefore the use of the spaces took place in compliance with the fruition criteria provided for by the Code of Cultural Heritage and Landscape, following the various prescriptions dictated by the superintendency. For example, during the assembly and handling of the fittings, ballasting was preferred to staking, and the internal and external flooring of the villa was always protected. Furthermore, no combustion engines were used in the vicinity of the facades of the villa, and the rooms, including the park were returned in the conditions in which they were found.